It's very important to understand the contributions that Black women made to the history of the Black Panther Party. Black women were involved in the Black Panther Party that started in Oakland, California in 1966 on all levels. I think that's important to note because oftentimes we know specific aspects of the Panthers' history. So the general public may be aware that the Panthers had a free breakfast for children program, that they engaged in armed self-defense, that many members of the organization suffered under the political repression of the FBI's COINTELPRO program, that the Black Panthers had well-known community programs from schools to free health clinics to free shoe giveaways to giving away groceries. It's important to note that Black women were involved in all of those activities. They were oftentimes the people who staffed those programs. They contributed theoretically to the Panthers' history, not only as workers within those programs on the grassroots levels, but as thinkers and as strategists within the Panthers' organizational history. So Black women were really an engine of the Black Panther Party in a lot of ways. They were central to its growth and development. They were captured in images that we can see in the archives today. So it's not a hidden role. However, we tend not to know about it as much because of the focus on the male leaders of the organization. And that has to do with the charismatic, top-down male leader approach to understanding the history of the civil rights and Black Power movement that still prevails today. Now, this is important because when we think about today's social movements, oftentimes we do focus on those charismatic male leaders. Yet we know that behind them, and oftentimes in front of them, were women who were putting forth ideas, who were organizing demonstrations, knocking on doors, standing on streets, operating protests, dealing with the press in a lot of different ways. So I think that when we think about women's involvement in the Black Panther Party in the 1960s and 70s, it allows us to see more clearly the type of involvement that women are having in today's contemporary social protest movements. Remember that the Black Panther Party was created at a time of revolution. So the role of women in social movements was being debated and contested amongst many groups, from the Young Lords Party, a Puerto Rican organization based in Chicago and New York, to the members of the white left, to the American Indian movement. So there was no place that a woman could go that was a political organization where they were not in struggle against ideas about women's place, about women's roles, about women's ability to be leaders. So for women in the Black Panther Party, we have to understand their participation in that context. Some of them were coming from other political organizations where they had played roles that were marginalized. And for them, the Panthers was a breath of fresh air. It was, in fact, an organization that had the potential to be open to the type of pressure that the women would place on. It was a place where women were able to find male allies in their struggle to be heard. It was a place where women could come who had not been politicized around women's rights and women's voices, and to see powerful and outspoken women and become those outspoken women themselves.